another episode of Minimum Rage, a show about two 20-year-olds raging about our past minimum wage jobs. This is season 2.
Woo!
First guest of season 2 is Erin.
Erin! Hi!
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited.
I am excited too.
Especially because you're fresh off of rageful employment.
Quit my job, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Starting another one soon.
That's good.
Yes, quit my job.
Living unemployment life right now.
I've never been healthier. I
Honestly,
shaved my legs. I shaved my legs. Not today, but I've done it once since I've been unemployed. Unemployment treats me well
That's good.
until I have to pay my rent.
And then it's
And then it's a problem.
a problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, usually how we like to start the show is asking what your first job was as a teenager.
Perfect.
What was it?
It was at Justice.
I am so jealous. I was not expecting that.
The shoes are giving justice, so I'm surprised you
God,
weren't.
I loved that.
Horrible place to work.
Oh, I could imagine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was 16, I think, and my very first shift was Black Friday at the mall with no prior training, 4 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Oh.
So I stayed there for 2 months. So
That's wild.
It was a rough time. I don't know. Maybe one of you came in while you were
Wait,
still
which
tykes.
one?
Oakview?
I went there all the time.
Oh, you were probably there. Were
I
you there in
probably was.
2011?
That's a little
Okay.
past.
Okay,
me,
never
but
mind.
Maybe.
Well, if you were there in 2011, let me know.
I frequented the Justice in the state of Alabama. That's where I lived when I wore Justice. And I would beg. I mean, I had every year I would, like, for school, I'd be like, can I just go get the graphic tees? I would get the scratch and sniff graphic tees.
Those were a nightmare, by the way.
Really?
Those were a nightmare.
Smell-wise or just like...
No, to deal with them. All the
maintain.
kids came through and scratched them,
scratched
and then they went all over the place, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I had
Yep.
one that smelled like chocolate milk.
Wait, the
Ooh.
clothes smelled?
Mm-hmm. Scratch and sniff.
Okay.
That was a
fancy.
phase.
It was so good. I mean, I had mounds. I remember, like, being, like, 17, being like, I can't keep these anymore. But I had collected them. But Justice is so iconic. I mean, were you wearing the clothes?
No. I grew up with Jocelyn.
I'm sorry.
No, I couldn't fit. I grew up on Limited 2, actually. Limited 2 was my thing. Justice came around a little bit later. I got one outfit from Justice in 5th grade, and it cost like $70, and that was all I ever got because it was insane. No, you just had to dress like kind of nice ish. But I remember you couldn't have your phone on the floor with you, so I didn't know what time it was. So I bought a necklace that had a clock. So I used to look at that all the time and be like, when the fuck am I getting out of here? Oh, this bitch. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Bad
the
job.
trinkets, you didn't have fun playing with those? I mean, why would you play with them? I don't know.
No, that's okay. So my friend got me the job there. She worked there, and we did buy little matching necklaces, which those were cute. But, and it wasn't even the kids who came into the store. It was the adults who drove me nuts. Like, unbearable. Unbearable people. And management was a shit show, and it was just...
What are the parents being crazy about?
Parents would get mad if you didn't have something specifically in the catalog.
The catalog. I'm sorry,
Catalog.
it's a deep cut.
It's a deep cut. I had the Limited 2 catalogs.
Yep.
And if you didn't have that in their child's size, and I worked around the holidays too. So parents would come in there like on a shopping spree. There was an older couple, like grandparents once, who came in shopping for their granddaughters, and somehow I found everything on their list. I don't know how that happened. Like wild, like boom, 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 boom. I felt incredible. And then I was ringing them up, and my manager was there, and they told my manager, like, this young lady should work on commission or something. She should get something because she helped us so much. My manager said, that's sweet. And then when they left, she goes, you're not getting anything. And I said...
Oh,
Yeah,
Even
that
like
tracks.
A coffee,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Just a little sweet
Nothing.
treat.
There was a promo, you know, like the Trader Joe's bags, like the reusable ones, you know? We had those for Justice. They were massive. And I was told one day for a shift, hand these out to everybody who walks in so they can put their clothes in it while they shop. And then at the end, they can purchase the bag for like $10, which is wildly overpriced. And the thing was you would get $10 for every bag that you sold to people. So I was on it. I was like, get this bag. This bag is great. No. She's going to love the bag. Like, it's a little sleepover bag, blah, 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 blah. I sold 10 bags. I was entitled to $100. I told my manager in the back, I said, hey, I sold 10 bags today. And she goes, okay. And I said, right. So the $10 per bag thing, what are you talking about? And I was like, you told me I got $10 for every bag I sold. And she said, I never said that. And I said, oh my God, I have to go to the food court. I'm taking my break, Melissa. I have to go to the food court and scream.
That's crazy.
It was wild.
Did Justice have a credit card?
God, I don't even remember. Probably.
I would assume.
I wasn't a cashier very often. Thank God.
Really?
Yeah.
You were on the floor.
I was on the floor. I preferred to be on the floor. I hate being a cashier. I can't count.
Yeah,
I don't know how to do numbers.
I get that.
I mess up change constantly.
Did you ever get birthday parties?
No, I wasn't there long enough for that. I don't know. I don't think we had like a group of like maybe 4 or 5 girls come in once together, but they weren't like a party. It was just their parents abandoned them and they came in. So no, we didn't have to do that. I remember though, do y'all remember Libby Lou's?
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I thought of immediately when you said that. We used to do Libby Lou's, but no, I don't think we ever had anything like that come in. It was mostly, we were selling matching sweatsuits, which were going, the shirt, the pants, and the jacket were going for $80 a pop. Oh my God. And they were selling out. And this is 2011 money, like $80 in 2011 for a sweatsuit.
Dang.
That's awesome. That's a Cheetah Girls moment.
Yeah.
It is.
Honestly.
There was pink, blue, and yellow. So it was Cheetah Girls.
Cute. Yeah. What's a Justice birthday? I've never heard of a birthday party.
Well, I just feel like you have a mall birthday party.
Yeah.
And
you
then
go.
just,
Yep.
you
hit the rounds. Yeah.
See, mall birthday party, like for me, it was like the Build-A-Bear workshop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd go there, and I mean, I've had the worst meltdowns of my life at a Build-A-Bear. I mean, I'm screaming because I can't buy my bear a watch. My mom's like, it's $20. The bear is not getting a watch. I remember having to be talked down.
You were on the ledge.
I was literally like, I was pulled from the group.
Paddington needs to be able to tell time. Mom, he needs to accessorize
2 PJ sets. Why can't I have them both? You think she's only going to be okay with one?
That is so crazy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to insert that, but it's Build-A-Bear is so, that was trauma.
Was it? I never went to Build-A-Bear.
Good.
I went there all the time. I mean, we've talked about this. I was spoiled a lot as a kid.
As you should be.
We went there frequently.
Got everything.
And
you got the watch.
I had a wheelchair.
Shut up, Grace. Why does the bear need
why not? And like a little cast.
That's actually wild.
I also repurposed it for the American Girl doll. So I'd say it was worth
to have free will over your bear and to make it injured is great.
Grace secretly works for the Americans with Disabilities Department.
I also felt a surge of jealousy and envy and maybe a little bit of hate when you said you had an American Girl doll because I wanted one so
I
bad.
The books. My grandma bought me the books, but I never had the dolls, no.
Damn.
Yeah. I missed out on some stuff.
That's okay.
I had a bunch of Barbies, though. Bunch of Barbies. Those were my thing. Yeah.
Barbies were, I mean, I got my first Barbie. I begged for it when I was like 13.
What? Really? Are we talking about the same thing, the doll? What are you talking about?
Okay, maybe I was like 12.
That's like me like begging for my first thong when I was 13. Like a Barbie?
Because I wasn't allowed to have Barbies. And then like one day I just was at a Walmart and I saw a Barbie that I was just like really drawn to.
And they were like $2-3. They were cheap too.
Well, my mother was terrible. So she was like, She was like, you're done. You're past your Barbie phase. It's over. You're not
you never
doing
got
it.
into it.
Exactly. I was like, you never even gave me the chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Every girl should experience a Barbie
Exactly.
phase.
And it was like a princess, not Princess Peach like Mario, but it was like a Princess Peach. She had on a peach
Barbie.
dress.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was cool.
Yeah. I still have all my old Barbies at my parents' house, actually. They're all still there. I'll have to like do inventory and see. But
Yeah.
Have a play
back.
date.
yeah.
Sell them.
No, I could never.
Okay, no, why would you?
They hold a special
Sorry.
place in my heart. I didn't get Build-A-Bear. I didn't get American Doll. I have to cling to something.
Yeah.
It's just my Barbies.
I
and
had
me.
a Beanie Babies. And then I think my dad or someone in my family was feeling hateful and sold them all. But I had Princess Diana Beanie Baby.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Okay, but did you have the right one? Did you have the right one? Because I have a Princess Diana Beanie Baby.
Purple
and she's
with the
not
little-
But there's two different ones. There's like a fraudulent one.
No.
And that's the one I have.
She was real. I won her at an auction.
Oh my God.
It was
You know what that reminds me of? There's an episode of Broad City where Alana has a Jean-Benet Ramsey Beanie Baby.
Okay, I'm obsessed with that case. Though.
John Bonet. Does she really have a Beanie Baby? Oh.
But like she's selling it to like somebody in China for like thousands upon thousands of dollars. Can you imagine?
A John Bonet? That's what I was like, really? That's crazy.
Like,
I
would
did
they
have to
make
Google
that
it.
before or after?
Right. I mean, she wasn't famous enough yet before. It would have had to have been after.
would have had to have been
I
deaf.
had to Google, is there a Jean-Benet Ramsey Beanie Baby? And thankfully all the results were like, no. I was like, oh, thank God.
There's still time.
There's still time. But yeah, I had Beanie Babies as well. there was one named Erin. She was green. And she had a little 3-leaf, 4-leaf clover. I can't remember. But
I bet I had that one too.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a collection.
I still have them at my parents' house.
God.
My brother and I had collections.
You are loved. That's what I'm learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything sentimental, my parents were like, throw it out.
That's my mom.
Get rid of it.
That's my mom. And then my dad is like, stupid. I remember I would come home from school as a kid and find like toys and stuff of mine in the trash because my mom was just like, it wasn't even hateful. It was just like clutter to her.
Sure.
Like she doesn't like extra stuff, whereas my dad like loves everything sentimental, and that's how I am. So I would come home from school every day and dig through the trash for my toys. And I'd be like, this is normal. I'm so glad I didn't tell like a guidance counselor or something because CPS would have been called.
It would have been like, this is abusive.
And my mom would have just been like, no, I just have OCD. Like, don't want clutter.
That's valid. I'm sorry. I know we've been on this for a second, but my mom threw out, or no, it was my dad threw out. I had a whole thing of Polly Pockets.
I still have
Big
my
Polly Pockets.
I still have my Polly
Do you
Pockets.
see? And everything that has like been taken away from me, you go, I have it still. It's like this is what elementary was for me.
No. I'll get all my old stuff. We can hang out at the pool. We can play Polly Pockets at the pool,
All right.
and it'll be fun.
All right.
And Barbies can swim. Barbies can
I'm
get
kind of
down
done with Barbies.
Yeah. No, I'll get all my old toys in a bin, and we'll take them to the pool.
All right.
Okay.
Grace, you can come.
Yes,
Okay.
of course. Automatic invite.
I'll bring all my Sharpay dolls that I have.
Oh my God.
The Sharpay Barbies.
Do you have a lot of your childhood toys too?
It's in storage.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I definitely didn't keep everything, but yeah.
My parents though, especially my mom, is like, we'll keep this stuff for when you have kids. And I'm like, when is a heavy word. Like that's doing a lot of lifting in this conversation.
You have a dog.
When I have a dog or when I want them back to play with them myself because I'm going through something.
Yeah.
And sometimes I need my Polly Pockets.
That's what I do sometimes. I mean, like to reconnect with myself, I will get on Club Penguin. Like if I'm feeling out of touch.
Not reconnect with my childhood, reconnect with my youth, reconnect with myself. I go on Club Penguin. Is Club Penguin still on?
You have to. Oh God, I actually have a really embarrassing story. I'm so sorry. The Club Penguin, you can download the program on your laptop. And I had this old laptop I was trying to get rid of, and the guy would go to this shop, and the guy pulls it up, and he turns the laptop. He goes, "It's just frozen on this game, and it's just Club Penguin frozen on the screen." He goes, "We can't take it."
So you were trying to sell the laptop?
I was trying to sell the laptop, but I did forget. It had been months, and so I had forgotten that the laptop broke because of Club Penguin. And so I didn't even really look at it, and I give it back to him. He opens it. It's just like, and it was really funny because he goes, I just had eye surgery, so I don't know if I'm seeing this right. Is that Club Penguin?
We can't take this.
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious. I got my friend kicked off of Club Penguin.
Hater. Why?
So, okay, we're in elementary school, so this is a long time ago, and I'm on her computer playing with it. She goes out of the room to do something. I type, does anyone want to have sex? Immediately.
Classic. That's really
And
funny.
I was like, oh.
Oh my gosh. Did it like notify her parents or anything?
Well, like it just like logged me out, and so I had to go tell her and be like, "Hey, something weird happened."
Yeah.
I didn't say what happened.
Good.
I propositioned strangers
But
online for sex.
I was like, I don't know. It just like logged me out.
Yeah.
And so she was only banned for a couple days, and then she was back. But her mom was mad about that.
Really? That she got banned?
Yeah.
Did the
She's
mom?
like,
Yeah.
she's like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "I didn't do anything."
I did
Exactly.
nothing.
Yeah.
I did nothing.
But I did.
Except I did.
I once tricked like most of the girls in my second grade class that I had met Katy Perry on Club Penguin. And I was really dragging out the lie to the point where I'm like, I have her phone number. I was faking phone call conversations on my flip phone with Katy Perry. And I was saying that like we would get on there together and I would be like, yeah, I'm just gonna go back to her igloo. Like it's
Play with her puffles.
I go, it's just like so like she's got like a unique setup. Like
Also, really quick, I love that both Katy Perry and JonBenet Ramsey popped up in this conversation because there's a conspiracy theory that JonBenet Ramsey was not murdered, that she's actually Katy Perry because they kind of look alike. And Katy Perry has had to say, that's not me. It's my favorite theory. I just had to share that because I have to share it whenever I have the opportunity.
No, I mean, and what a perfect.
Oh, it's
What
so
a
That's
funny.
a funny conspiracy.
That is really
It's my
funny.
favorite. It is truly my favorite.
I'm very locked in on JonBenet right now.
Oh my God. My theory, the parents didn't do it, the brother didn't do it. Controversial, but.
Who do you think did it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I read a book. Do you know the show Mindhunter? Okay, so excuse me, I'll get into it. It's based on this, or it's not based on. Mindhunter was a book written by this guy, John Douglas, who is a very famous FBI profiler. He basically created the behavioral analysis unit, like all of that. And he had a book where he talked about like unsolved cases, and one of them was the JonBenet Ramsey one. And he basically said his theory is that it was like an older son of somebody who worked with JonBenet's dad, because the ransom note had JonBenet's dad's bonus amount in it. And so he speculates that it was like wasn't the dad just named John, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so John, it was one of his coworkers' son who was like 18, 19, 20, snuck into the house through the broken window during the Christmas party, hid out there, wrote the ransom note, and then took her. That's my theory.
Really?
Yep,
That's kind of. Yeah.
that's what I subscribe to. I do believe the parents are innocent. I believe the brother's innocent. It's not as fun, but
Yeah. The only thing with the note is that they compared the note handwriting to a bunch of the mom's handwriting.
and it was super
And
similar.
that's the only thing. And the brother was kind of weird.
The brother was very strange, and then I saw him on Dr. Phil a few years ago, and I was like, oh, he's just autistic.
Yeah.
Like, no. If you watch him as an adult, you're like, oh, he's just autistic and went through some trauma. Okay, like, and also he was like 10 at the time. I'm like, no 10-year-old boy would keep that to himself. Like, absolutely not.
Ooh.
He'd be talking about it at Club Penguin in the igloo.
Guess who
Yeah.
I killed?
And Katy Perry. Full circle, baby.
That was really fun.
Anyways.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
That was good.
That was very good. Okay, but you also one time worked at Costco.
I worked at Costco. Yeah, I worked there. So I graduated college in 2019. I had no prospects, nothing. So I was like, I'm going to apply to work at Costco like seasonally. So I got hired in October 2019. I worked in the bakery, which I loved. All I did was like wrap stuff, but I also learned how to like bake, and they tried to teach me how to decorate cakes, and I can't do that to save my life. But I really liked the bakery. And then after Christmas, they had to let the seasonals go, but they were like, we're going to call you back. Like, don't worry. We want you to come back. So I was chilling for like 2 months, and then I get a call in March of 2020, which is right around when like the pandemic is starting to hit. And they were like, hey, can you just like come back and work? Like, we don't really know where to put you, but like come through. And I was like, sure. They put me in the bakery. I was there for 3 days. And at the end of my shift on my 3rd day, I was like closing up and cleaning. And I like stepped on something kind of weird. And I was just like, I don't know what that was. And I went home, and the next morning I woke up and I had broken my foot. And I, to this day, don't know how I did that. But my foot was like super swollen. I said this last time, I had to go to my chiropractor to get an x-ray.
And that's truly, I mean...
peak chiropractor patient behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I wasn't going there to get my neck cracked. I wanted to see what bones were broken.
X-ray.
X-ray. And she did. She gave me an x-ray. And so then I broke it. I was out for 2 weeks, and then I came back and I was like, hey, I can come back. Like, I'm in a boot, but I can work. They put me on the front end, like assisting with the cashiers. And that's when you're like boxing shit up and like running around the store. And I had that goddamn boot on, sweating like a monster.
That's crazy they made you do that with
I
the
was
boot.
sweating like a monster. And then eventually my foot wasn't getting better, so I had to get surgery for it.
Oh.
And I told them, I was like, hey, I'm going to be out for 2 months because I won't be able to walk. But like, here's my start day. I can come back then. And they were like, okay. And then I healed and I didn't get a call back. So I was like, okay. And that's when I enrolled to get my paralegal certificate. So dark times. Dark times for
I told
stuff.
Erin very recently that amidst my psychosis, my first time, I wanted to be a paralegal.
Yes, it tracks.
So we've
tracks.
We've deduced that
you're in a dark place when you consider this.
being a paralegal.
Yes.
I have Costco questions real quick though. So
I don't know if I can answer all of them, but
number 1, were you allowed to sample the samplings?
there were no samples.
Is that just Sam's Club?
No, there
'cause
were
What?
COVID. So
What's the point?
You know, there probably were samples when I was there in 2019, but I never really noticed because I didn't walk past any of them.
You were in the bakery.
I was in the bakery, locked in, like ready to go. And so I didn't notice them. But by the time I came back, no samples. And they didn't bring those back until like 2022, I don't think. It was a long time.
And they didn't like pay for your leave or anything like that?
So I wasn't official. I mean, I was employed, but I wasn't an official, like, full-time employee. Like, I was still, like, under the seasonal thing, so I didn't get, like, health insurance. I didn't get any. I basically just got a paycheck.
Giving friends with benefits.
Friends with benefits,
Costco.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then they ghosted me. So, what?
Dang.
I know, to get ghosted by Costco is kind of upsetting. I always thought it'd be the other way around, but, yeah. 7 out of 10 for Costco.
Did you get a free membership?
I did.
Ooh.
Oh, no, wait. Shoot. Oh, I can't remember if I did a seasonal. Regular employees do, though. Full-time and part-time do get a free membership. They get, like, stock in the company. They get crazy health benefits.
Stock?
You get
That's
stock.
wild.
What? Get health benefits. The health benefits are so crazy that, like, I have a friend who works there, and her insurance covered her visits to, like, a nutritionist. And, like, massages and stuff like that. Like, very good insurance. Costco, overall, good place to work. My experience was, I think, a little bit of an outlier.
Yeah.
In terms of the data, I am an outlier. Yeah. But I won't speak negatively of Costco as a whole. The CEO is sick.
Yeah.
He saw
Like
that
sick or
sick. I hope not sick. He's old, but I hope not sick. But he saw a few years ago, they wanted to raise the price of hot dogs. And he was like, there is no fucking way you are raising the price of my hot dogs. And was basically just like,
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And the CEO doesn't get paid too much in terms of other CEOs because they pay their employees really well. So, yeah, it's a good place.
That's dope.
That's nice.
That is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, it's a good place to work.
I have
Shout
a
out Costco.
question.
Yes.
So the parking lot is crazy.
Yes.
Where do employees park?
Basically, so it's nice. I had a few shifts where I worked like 4 a.m. to 12 p.m., which were actually my favorite ones because you weren't there long while like members were there and you got to dip in the early afternoon. Then you can park right up front at the store. If I was working any other shift, If I was closing, you had to park in a specific area because you all walk to your cars in that area. But if I was working like a regular day shift, I would just park as far away from the store as possible because I like to eat my lunch in my car and cry. Not crying associated with the job, but just life.
Hey, it all hits you.
When I first started working here, that's what I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
I eat lunch in my car all the time.
In the corner. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's peaceful. It's relaxing. Yeah. It's really nice. You listen to a podcast.
Yeah. I have no problems here, but I do still eat my car.
Yeah.
It's just every time I go in the break room, it's fine, but I just feel like a loser.
Well, and you need a change of environment too. Like you need to get out of the office and the fresh air of your hot car, listening to a podcast while running the engine
and just like
wasting money on gas.
Yeah. I like to do that.
Yes.
But everyone, it's like also I feel like when I go in there, there's like a trio of like it seems like they've been friends for 10 years.
Yeah.
God, yes.
Well, it doesn't help that there's 2 tables in there.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like they used to have those couches with like the little trays on them. I've never sat there.
you should sit there.
I think they took them out.
Yeah.
But it's like you are forced
You're forced to
sit.
socialize.
Yeah.
It's like a hibachi grill situation.
I don't even get me.
I worked at a place like that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I worked at Hibachi Grill, and I was like...
I didn't like grill, but I worked at Kobe Steakhouse.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite. I get the same server every time I go. I've gotten Alex for 4 years straight.
I don't know Alex. I don't know anyone there anymore. But I like Genji. I'm gonna shout out Genji.
Okay.
I think Genji's superior. You get more food for a better price.
Okay.
But Kobe's not bad.
Kobe's pretty good.
Yeah. But that was.
I've never eaten there.
We're going.
It's fun. Genji. It's fun. They like cook the food in front of you and they do the onion volcano and you catch the shrimp in your mouth. I was a hostess there though and it was hell. It was pure hell.
Oh God, I do feel for hostesses.
Yeah.
Like when I've served at restaurants and stuff, it's like the fate. It's like servers have a very hard, like taxing job, but hostess, it's like the mental
Hosts
war.
are the ones
Everyone
who get
hates-
blamed for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at Kobe, they only had, I think 16 tables because they're the big grill ones. And the hostess was responsible for like grouping parties up and like, 4 and 4, maybe 5. If we have 12, we have to bring extra chairs. You had to turn the grill on when people sat down. If you forgot to do that and the grill wasn't on when the chef came out, they were pissed because then the people had to wait longer. People called me a bitch all the time there.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I was there for 6 months. That was my job immediately after Justice, actually.
Dang, it did not get better.
I was in the trenches, yeah. Yeah, it was. So I did go to Kobe once in college, and it was PTSD to the fullest. I can't
It's
go
not
back.
fun.
Can't go
Did
back.
you get like a percentage of
No.
tip out?
No, nothing, no.
You had an hour?
Literally nothing. Hourly. I think it was still $7.25 at the time.
Dang.
Yeah, because I was getting $8 an hour at Justice, or maybe $9. But I wasn't working that many hours. I went to Kobe because my other friend worked there. And I did once get a party. So, it's more often on a weekend you should have a reservation to go there. Otherwise, you might have to wait a very long time. Yeah. We had a party once. This woman came in. She was really sweet. She had, I think, 9 people, so it would have required a table of their own. And she didn't realize she needed a reservation. And then I was able to kind of finagle it to get them a table within like 5 minutes. And she was like, "Oh my God, that's incredible. Thank you so much." And I said, "Yeah, it's fine." They went, had their food, had a good time. And as they were leaving, she gave me $20 as like a thank you.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." I told her, I was like, "I can't take this. Like, I'm not supposed to." And she said, "Just take it." She said, you deserve this." And I said, "Thank you so much." My manager came up to me and she goes, "Why did she give you money?" And I said, "Because I got her party in at a table." And she goes, "You can't take that money." And she took it from me.
Whoa.
I don't know where that money went. I don't know if I don't think it went back to that woman.
Whoa.
I don't know where it went, but I did not get to keep that money. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes, it was a rough place to
Dang.
be. Yeah, a lot of math, a lot of counting. Again, not my
God.
strong suit. Not
As
good
a
for me.
hostess?
Pairing up parties, all that
Oh,
stuff.
sure.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I mean by math. Just adding like 5 and 4. Yeah, no, it's
4.
hard for me. It's very hard for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a rough gig.
I couldn't do it. I mean, like, I've seen, I was a server for one night. I quit.
Good for you.
At, it was Upstream Brewing in the Old Market. They put me on the patio my first night.
Absolutely not.
And I sweat down my back.
Yep.
And the next day, I called. They didn't even ask me for my name.
Yes. Yeah.
I just go, "I'm not coming in for my shift today." And they go, "Fine." They did not care. They did not
They've
care.
had that happen before.
But I remember I like went in wanting to be like a hostess.
Really?
And they were like, "You."
I can see the pros and cons of each like position. I don't know
Yeah.
what hostessing at a restaurant that's not like the hibachi style would be like.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be better. I don't know. But I do remember at the end of my shift at Kobe, I'd have, you know, those little like drink umbrellas, the really pretty cute ones. So at the end of my shift, I'd have to like get a bunch of those like pre-opened for the bartenders and stuff for the next day. And I remember at the end of my first shift crying because I couldn't open them because they were really hard. And I was crying over this table in the sushi bar by myself, just being like, I never want to work here ever again. Like people yelled at me and I just had like splinters on my fingers from these like umbrellas. Yeah. Yeah. And I went back the next day and had little Band-Aids on my fingers. People were like, what happened? I was like, workplace injury.
That is literally like sitcom. That is
It was so sad.
funny.
It was so sad. My first shift was a Friday night, and I also had to work Saturday night and Sunday night too. Like it was, again, just getting thrown into the trenches as like a 16-year-old.
Did you ever work any serving jobs besides that one?
No.
You learned.
But you know, I know some people who are servers or have been servers and they love it. But I think you have to be a very specific personality. Like you have to have a lot of energy, which I would run out of quickly.
Oh yeah.
Very charming. Like, and I just hate the idea of working for tips because like you give it your all and then you get nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
It's brutal.
If I hadn't worked as a hostess there, I probably would have tried to be a server somewhere like in college, but I didn't want to work in the food industry anymore. Well,
You did work in the food industry. If I remember correctly, you spent and served some time at a yogurt shop. A frozen
That's not
yogurt
food.
shop. That is food. That is food. What do you mean? That is food.
It is food, but that is not food industry. That is like 20
No,
steps
no,
below
no.
food industry. That is
Don't
like...
talk about yourself like that. You were in it.
Okay, Red Mango, I was there I think for like 4 years. Honestly, maybe my favorite job and my least favorite job.
Okay.
Like the pros and cons were wild. Like it was fun because it was self-serve frozen yogurt. Like people kind of handled themselves. And you'd make like smoothies and stuff. Learned how to cut pineapples and mangoes while I was there. Lifelong skill. And like the people I worked with were funny. It was cool. I got to play music, whatever. But then at one point, despite the fact that I was getting 25 cents above minimum wage, I dropped out of college. I was like, I'm just going to do this.
Yep.
And so I dropped out for a semester and I worked like 39.9 hours a week because you couldn't do 40 because then they'd have to do like health benefits, whatever. So I did that. And then at the end of that, I was like, if I don't go back to college now, I will never go back. And I was so close to finishing. So I went back to school, I re-enrolled, and then I told my manager, I was like, hey, I'm going to have to cut down on hours. Like, I'm going to have to do like 32 hours a week now instead of like 39. And she was like, okay, let me talk to the owner about that. And I was like, what do you mean talk to the owner? It's kind of a simple thing. So she spoke to the owner, and then she had to relay to me because he didn't tell me. He, therefore, was taking away my raise. Because I wasn't as committed as I was before. And I just want to say that this man, the 3 months prior to me getting my raise taken away, went on a cruise, went to Hawaii, and went to Disney World without his children.
Wow.
But he could not afford to keep paying me what he was.
25-cent raise.
Absolutely. So I gave my 2 weeks.
Period.
And then the place closed 5 months later.
Oh.
So... I mean, sad that I am also sad that it closed. I loved Red Mango.
Okay.
I loved it.
Yeah, I went there all the time.
I stole from there all the time.
Stole?
Yes,
What'd
I
you
stole
steal?
constantly. Merch.
Like yogurt. Oh.
Oh, they have like t-shirts?
No, well, yeah, I took those too, but they had like yogurt. I used to take home. Do you remember the little frozen cheesecake bites?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I took those home by the
Those are
pound.
the best.
We had
the best.
when we would switch out a flavor of yogurt, we would drain the rest of it into like quarts, and you could buy a quart for like, I don't know if you, because you know it's based on weight. The price was
Right.
So if you weighed a quart of yogurt, it was going to go for like $20. But if we had just drained a flavor and had a quart of it in the back, we would sell that for like $9. So I took those home all the time. I took them. We had acai bowls. I was making those. I had those. Water. And what I would do, there were cameras. There was no audio, but there was cameras there. So I would be at the register. I would grab something. I would tap on it, and then I'd swipe my library card, and then I'd hit print receipt like previous receipt, and I'd be like, wow, I paid for it. I only stole so much because we were underpaid.
Exactly.
And okay, so I was a shift lead, and for that we got a $5 gift card per month. $5. I was like, that's barely a cup of yogurt. That's a cup of yogurt with no toppings. So yeah, I stole a lot of stuff.
That's good.
Nothing really permanent. It was all, you couldn't trace it back. It was all ingested. My parents' freezer was stocked with red mango yogurt for years, though.
Well, like, when you work at a fast food, you get a free meal.
Yeah,
Did you get a free?
No.
Oh.
No, it was that $5 gift, and we got a card, so we had to swipe it so the system registered when you used it. So, like, once it was done for that month, you were done for that month. Yeah. Yep. So, I will say...
It's giving stinge.
It is. But the plus side of it was when I became a shift lead, I was... there all the time by myself. And then we had some high school kids come in and work like in the summers. And do cops listen to this?
No, I don't. No. I wouldn't think so.
Okay, cool.
I wouldn't think
if
so.
They do.
Can you just turn it off real quick?
Just put it on mute really quick. This is, for legal purposes, a joke.
And it's so funny.
It's so funny. So, okay, so the one I worked at was at One Pacific Place, which is right by Trader Joe's. Okay. And we had like these high school kids, and I always remember being like, they're here on a weekend in the summer, like this blows for them. So I would get like a pizza from Domino's or something, and then I'd go to Trader Joe's, I'd get sushi because they used to have sushi there. And then one time I bought some wine and I was drinking it in the back, minding my own business because I was 22 at the time and I could. And one of the girls was like, what is that? And I said, it's wine. And this was not good wine, by the way. This was cheap wine.
Yes.
And she said, can I have a sip? And I said, come here around the corner where there are no cameras. Girlie got tanked. And I said, girl, you just hang out in the back. You're good. Yeah. Drink some water. I was sipping on wine for my whole shit. I did that multiple times.
I would love if you were my manager.
You know what? I taught those women a lot, and I have not seen them since, but I would like to believe they are strong, independent women who can hold their wine while at a frozen yogurt shop, because that's what I did. And I bought pizza to like soak it all up. I was like, listen, ladies, we're not just going to drink on an empty stomach. We don't do that. I know you go to parties, but this is high class.
And what else is there to do?
Literally,
I can't imagine there's like a bunch, like I'm sure like cleaning, but like once that's done and
you're like kind of dead on a summer night, which happened occasionally, I was like, what do I do? I would watch TV, I would blast music, and I'd get a little tipsy, and then I'd count the drawer, and it was short. And I was like, is it short because I'm drunk, or is it short because I'm bad at math?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Unfortunately, both.
So that's why it was also my favorite job.
It does sound loose. I can't imagine there's a lot of bad customer experiences there. Like who's really pissy at yogurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there were some. One guy came in once with his family. There was a giant rush, and he was like, oh, I just realized I left my credit card at home after he and his family had gotten the yogurt. And I said, you know what, sir, that's no problem. That happens. What we can do is we can put lids on these, put them in the freezer, and then when you come back, they'll still be fresh, good to go. And no, I wasn't working the register. Someone else was. And he told her, and she responded, we can put them in the freezer. And he goes, no, I don't want to do that. He was like, we're going to eat these and then I'll come back and pay. And they left. I found out later they had left. And she was so surprised because she was still new. And she was like, Erin, I think they just stole. And I was like, only I'm allowed to do that. And so they like walked out. They came back like 30 minutes later. And the guy had his credit card. And they'd like, she'd had the transaction somewhat completed. So she'd weighed the yogurt. Yeah. And, he came up to the register, and by this time we'd slowed down. I knew who he was. He said, hi, I'm here to pay. And I said, for what? And he goes, oh, my family and I got some yogurt a while ago. And I said, and you didn't pay? And he was like, well, I left my credit card at home. This is a grown-ass man. And he said, so I came back here with my credit card. And I said, so you walked out eating stuff without paying for it. That's theft. And he was like, no, I told her I was coming back with my credit card. And I was like, right. Did she tell you we could keep stuff in the freezer? And he was like, well, yeah, but I wasn't going to let that happen. And I was like, okay, sir, from now on, that is called stealing anywhere you go.
Yeah.
And I said, I will ring you up. I ignored the previous total, and I just put in like $30. And I was like, your total's $30. And he got mad about that. And I said, don't steal.
Yeah.
Again, only for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some people got really pissy about their smoothies. Had to be the exact right texture. They'd yell at me. Texture. Yeah. People, God, what else did they do? Oh, my favorite was when I would be cleaning up for the night because it'd be 10 minutes to close, and I'd be stacking chairs on tables, and people would come in, and then they would take the chairs down and sit.
That's so disrespectful.
So then I started sweeping, and I'd be like, can you move your feet, please? And I'd keep sweeping. And one time a woman was like, you're getting awfully close to us. And I was like, so we're closed?
Yeah.
And those chairs were on the table, which indicated that we are closed. So you're more than welcome to leave.
Yeah.
I loved when people came up, though, and the doors were locked, and they just kept trying to open it. I was like, this heals me. This is great. So yeah, I look back fondly on that time.
Once the chairs are up, even if the doors are open still, when I see chairs up,
I'm like,
I go,
I'm not even going in.
It's done.
Yes,
Yeah.
People, if you came in to get yogurt, I would be fine if you were like quick and apologetic.
Yep.
If you'd be like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you were closing. Can I come through really quick? I'd be like, yeah. Don't worry about it.
And
whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, the people who would like sit down.
Taking the chairs down is
Taking the chairs is-
I would say put it back.
Put it back.
No, I liked where it was at the beginning.
Those are there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not a challenge. It's not like a test of strength. Like you have to leave those where they are. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's like a couple of red mangoes left in the country, but I do miss it. They had really good yogurt, really good stuff. Yeah.
And so you did that and then Costco. And then after Costco, did we become a paralegal?
Trying to think of that. Again, we is doing a lot of heavy lifting. We meaning me, yes. Unless you want to vicariously live through me as a paralegal, you're more than welcome to do.
Honestly, considering the experiences I've heard from you, I don't want to live vicariously through you as a paralegal.
Can you
It's okay.
explain what a paralegal is?
No. Yeah, so it's like an attorney's assistant, I suppose. I guess you could kind of compare it to like a doctor with a nurse, except nurses do a lot more in their field than like paralegals do in theirs. Basically, like, depending on the area of law that you work in, I used to work in litigation, so I'd help with drafting motions or pleadings and filing those online with the court system. Trying to think what else I did. Estate planning, you kind of like review for errors and stuff. I quit my job, but it was commercial real estate and corporate stuff. Corporate stuff is like forming entities. Commercial real estate, I don't remember. It was a lot. But it's basically assisting an attorney. But you have to be careful about like, you can't give legal advice or you can't file certain things because then it's like the unauthorized practice of law. So I think it also just depends on what area you work in and like who you work for, whether it's good or bad. I wouldn't say, because I've been at 2 firms now, none of them were bad. But I just like, I don't know. I haven't found like the area that I really, really enjoy yet. So litigation was juicy, but it was heavy.
Yeah.
Because clients call and they more often will speak to you than the attorney. And so you have to listen to them and like take in all this heat and then be like, sorry, I can't help you. Yeah. Yep. So it's an interesting
I
job.
can't imagine the I don't know if clients yell at you, but I'm assuming it's gotten.
They did when I worked in litigation. I don't think I had anyone ever yell at me at my last one. Just because like ultimately what were the stakes? Like a white man loses money.
Yeah.
Yay. You know. And my last firm was really like efficient and on top of it, so nothing ever really went wrong. I mean, I got yelled at more at the frozen yogurt shop than I did as a paralegal, so that's wild. But yeah, sometimes it was rough. But I'm going to work for a different attorney now who does different areas of law, and he seems really cool. It's him and his dad. Seems chill.
Seems flexible too.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited. He's my parents' neighbor, and his dog plays with my parents' dog all the time. So I'm like,
That
Fun.
yes.
is wholesome.
Yeah.
So did you go to school for that stuff?
Yeah, I got my undergraduate from UNO, and then I enrolled in the paralegal program at Metro in fall of 2020. And then I graduated in, I think, winter of 2022. So it didn't take terribly long. It was interesting. I liked the classes a lot. And that's when I thought I was going to go to law school. And then I started my internship at a law firm and realized the last thing I want to do in this world is be a lawyer. Can't do it. Can't do it. I like free time. They don't really have free time.
No.
And they, for the most part, they love their jobs, which, like, don't get that, but never understood that. But, yeah, grateful I didn't go to law school. Another one saved. Another one.
Another thought I've only had in psychosis was I should go to law school.
I bought a book, like, an LSAT trainer to do, because I was like, I think I could crush this. To be fair, I think I would have excelled in law school. I don't think I would excel as an attorney. I think I would immediately just like flatline and be like, nope, I made a huge mistake. I have to go, with like hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt.
I studied. I say that so loosely for the LSAT.
Be confident.
No, but for the LSAT, and I remember doing the brain games.
Yeah.
And being like, I am losing my mind.
I'm losing my mind right now. If it helps you, if it makes you feel better, the LSAT is not indicative whatsoever of being a lawyer.
No. It's like it's like
mind games.
It is mind games, and it's like I'm trying to pull from like a game I remember, but it's like assessing patterns and like using their just weird logic to whatever. But it was like, I mean, it seems like a child's playbook. It does. It's not like real.
It's not real. It's
law.
It's so when you start like, so I will say a few of the classes through Metro were very similar to classes you would take in law school. Obviously not nearly as intense, but we did learn a lot of the same things. We learned how to read case law. We learned how to analyze it and summarize it and all of that. And it is almost like learning a different language when you're really focused in on it. And so if you have the ability to kind of like problem solve or recognize patterns, that's helpful. But the LSAT has always just been very interesting to me because it's not like the MCAT. Like MCAT you study for, it is all related to medical school. LSAT, and lawyers too, you can have literally any major in college. You don't need pre-law. You can do anything and just go. Like they don't care. So yeah, the LSAT as well. I want to go back. I think I would crush law school. I think I would have a full mental breakdown over the bar exam. I don't think I would do it. I think I would fully. The attorneys I know said they studied all day, every day for months. Like literally 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. studying. And I'm like, no.
That sounds miserable.
That sounds like hell. That sounds like hell. I won't do that. Yeah.
The only thing I know about the bar exam is that Kim Kardashian took it
she didn't take the real bar. She took the
baby bar. Yeah.
She took the baby bar. Yep.
And did she ever pass?
Yeah.
I think she passed.
She did.
However, one of the attorneys at my old firm, she's from California, and she told me California has the hardest bar exam, like for sure, out of any other state. It is incredibly difficult. I don't remember the percentage rate for people who pass, but it is very low. So she was like, I understand why Kim took the baby bar because like she would never pass the real bar. Like it's a very intense exam and it's like 2 or 3 days. I think the California one was 3 days. Yeah. And you have to like stay at a hotel and like, and just study and then die, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you pass and then you have to be a lawyer. So where's the good part? I don't know. What's the reward here?
There's the good
You probably have to pay to take it too.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe you do. Yeah. And it's hundreds of dollars, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. I would always be nervous though, because like, what if I went in to take that and like my tummy growled and everyone heard it and just stared at me?
Humiliating.
And then I'd be so embarrassed that my tummy would growl more out of embarrassment. You ever have that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like
or
somebody.
My throat will make
the gurgle noise.
the gurgle, and I go, oh.
I have that because my esophagus is too small and I can't always burp right.
Interesting.
Yeah. I might get a shot of Botox in there one day.
What?
Just open it up.
Wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know that could happen.
My esophagus.
How did they find that out?
I diagnosed it.
Oh.
I self-diagnosed.
I go, how are they checking for that?
I was on a real kick when I got health insurance back, and I was just going through everything that might be wrong with me. And I brought that up to my doctor, and she was like, that's not an urgent matter. And I was like, all right, we'll circle back in a few years. But yeah.
That's really good.
Thank you.
But the test anxiety noises.
So I remember senior year of high school in AP Calc, I was already doing terribly in that class. My stomach growled because it was like early in the morning and I got so embarrassed. And then my stomach like clenched and it made a really loud noise. And everyone was just like, what the fuck was that? And then nobody said anything, but I was like, oh my God. And then like 2 minutes later it did it again. And one guy goes, what is that noise?
That's rude to call it out like that. That guy's a hater.
You know what sucks even more is that like at the end of that school year, I was taking my AP English exam, and I was really good in English. I was crushing the exam, but my stomach started making noises again, and it was so loud. We were in a basement, like all concrete walls and floor, so it echoed. And finally, I just said, I'm sick. I can't do this exam anymore, and I dipped, and I didn't finish my exam.
Susceptible to cold, too.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
I am just because I want some friends, but like it's not the religious thing for me. Like just to have some buddies. Like I went rock climbing the other day and there was a girl there and she seemed really nice and I meant to ask for her Instagram because I was like, I cannot let a possible friend slip through my fingers.
Yeah.
And she did. So I would join a cult for sure.
Oh, yeah.
As long as it's not religion.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm looking for.
I know I've joined cults by accident.
Sick.
Yeah.
Wait, what kind?
Well, there was this Facebook group.
Wait, is it the McChicken Facebook group?
No, I'll stay in that McChicken Facebook group. It was this.
They wish you happy birthday.
They did.
Right?
Well, they posted a McChicken with a lesbian flag on it, so it was like they were wishing Happy Pride.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that meant a lot to me.
The McChicken is gay.
The McChicken, and honestly, it's always been queer coded.
It's always been
I had a
queer-coded.
McChicken today. I had a free one in the app, so just used it.
That's really nice. I would argue that the Big Mac is Republican.
Oh, yeah.
The McChicken is queer.
Queer.
And the Filet-O-Fish is socialist genderqueer.
I fuck with the
Filet-O-Fish just doesn't know what it is.
Have you had a Filet-O-Fish, Grace?
No.
Oh, God, they're so good.
I'm
Everyone
learning a
else
lot.
besides us will tell you that they are bad. And I'm just
No.
telling you, don't listen to them. Listen to
Eat
us.
it.
You are unlikely to find a better sandwich with simply fried fish, cheap cheese, and tartar sauce that hits as well as that does.
It's really good, and you feel good after. That's the
Well-
only sandwich from McDonald's. Stop, because that's the only sandwich from McDonald's I feel okay after.
okay, not good.
I don't feel like
Not like I did something good.
Like I have to hide the box once.
Oh
I'm
my
done.
God, and it comes in a box. That's the thing. It doesn't come in a wrapper like the McChicken.
It's a box.
It's a box, so like it's really hard to like hide that shit.
Yeah, it's so humid. I have to stop at a gas station after to throw the trash out.
I've gotten more shame in my life for eating Filet-O-Fish than anything else I've ever done. And I killed a man. No. I wish. But the Filet-O-Fish has been disparaged far too much for my taste. And you know what? I tried the fish sandwich from Burger King once. Too much going on. I don't appreciate that. It's not good. Lauren and I were talking about this. We were like, the only good thing at Burger King really, in my opinion, is the Impossible Whopper. Because it still tastes exactly like a Whopper.
Oh, that's actually cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly like it. Like it hits. I wish Burger King would bring back the chicken fries though.
That's what I was
Same.
thinking.
That's my favorite.
Right?
Yeah.
What happened to those? I remember my mom used to get me chicken fries, and then we go to Taco Bell and get a Frutista Freeze. If any of y'all remember Frutista Freeze.
No, I do because
That's very young for you.
I actually no, but I had a shirt from Justice that the bottom was pink and it faded up into orange, and every time I wore it, my family would call me
Little Frutista Freeze. Mon petit Frutista Freeze. I thought you were gonna say it was like a scratch and sniff, and I was like, no way.
Scratch and sniff Justice.
Frutista Freeze. Yeah, they had mango and mango strawberry, and that hit. God, I miss America when it used to be America.
Yeah.
Frutista Freeze, chicken fries. But sorry, I was reminiscing.
This was great.
This was.
I think we've reminisced.
I think this was good.
this was fun.
We talked about Build-A-Bear. We talked about cults.
We talked about John Benet Ramsey.
The range of topics is insane.
I mean,
I'm excited.
you're welcome.
No,
You know?
I knew having you on. I was like, there's no way we will just talk about her employment history.
No, because it's not all that fun.
But it is.
Oh, I worked at Gallup for 2 months as well. The polling
I've heard
place.
of
The personality
Horrible.
testing. Oh.
You're talking about
I
Myers
think
Briggs?
that's what I was thinking of.
Oh.
No, Gallup is the polling place. They don't really do it anymore, but they would call and be like, do you have time to take a poll for Gallup? And
But-
I had people tell me to fuck off all the time there. Dang. So I quit. It was funny because turnover rate was so high, I literally could have just stopped showing up and it would have been fine. But instead, I felt the need to email my boss and tell her I was moving to Cleveland. I've never been to Cleveland, but
You said I'm going.
I'm going. And she said, best of luck. And then I haven't been to Cleveland yet, so I should
There's
probably
time.
go.
There's time.
I don't know if I'll make it.
I was thinking about, like, in college, I had to take this thing from Gallup. It was like a quiz that, like, tells you what your strong suits are.
Oh, you had to
Yeah,
take that
that's
to
what I was
apply.
thinking of.
You had to take that to apply for the position as well.
Oh, okay.
Their process was actually pretty rigorous in
Yeah.
retrospect, which is crazy. I do know what you're talking about, though. They had that, and I hated it. I don't remember what my strengths were.
Yeah.
Or my weaknesses. I was just out of high school and had no idea what to do with myself. So I'll sit at a desk and make calls. No. Told to fuck off more than any other time.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, it built character.
It did.
Well, now I do stand up and I don't feel anything. I feel nothing. When I bomb, I feel nothing because I've had multiple adults tell me to fuck off.
Well,
when I was a teenager, so
I get depressed.
Thick skin. Don't worry about it. Nobody. I mean, you know what? If nothing else, you have your cults that you can go back to.
Yeah.
I have a book you should actually read about cults. It might help you. Like, just, just be wary.
Okay.
If we find a good one, we can go, but
all right.
They're few and far between. Last good one was the Manson family. Pre-murders, okay? Would not have joined for the murders. It's all the other stuff beforehand. Looked fun. They were just high as shit playing cowboys out in the desert. They really were.
I just saw Once Upon a Time
in Hollywood. Yes, yeah.
It did look fun.
Hitchhiking. They were a bunch of morons, high out of their minds. They were idiots, and it's just like that looks so fun to pop in for like 2 months. And I always say,
just be taken care of.
Yes, if I had been in that age and had gone out there in that time, I definitely would have hopped in for like 2 months and then fully dipped. Like,
but are you allowed to leave?
Before it got really, really intense, you could leave. There were a few people who came in and then left. It's just that most people didn't want to. But by the time it got really dark, people had to like sneak out to leave. Yeah. Heaven's Gate, though, you could pop in and out. They're the cool ones. They're the ones where the men were castrated willingly. So, love them. So good.
Oh, I don't know why Heaven's Gate. I was thinking of Jonestown.
Oh God, Jonestown.
Kool-Aid.
Drink the Kool-Aid. No, Jonestown, I would argue that Jim Jones was worse than Charles Manson. Really quick, I can look up the logo for Heaven's Gate. It's just really sick. I would like
it's
to
actually going to be the new logo for Minimum Wage.
It's really...
We're unveiling it.
Tell me that's not sick as hell.
It's kind of pride. It's giving pride.
It's giving pride.
Oh, that's pretty.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
This was like the 90s. They came up with that. Like... I love this. They were like,
that's cute.
Yeah.
Heaven's
Gate. Yeah,
I make it gay.
I love them
because they looked queer. I like it.
They are queer. I think they were very accepting of queer people there. So, I don't know. I wish they hadn't disbanded from suicide. I would go.
I am going to be 100% honest and say I don't know how to bridge the gap from closing this show from suicide at Heaven's Gate.
Let's see.
Closing remarks.
Closing remarks for me. I would rather join a cult than have one more job.
Oh.
Yes, that's...
I like that.
I would rather join Heaven's Gate than ever open Microsoft Outlook again. So, there's my closing remarks.
And we'll end on that.
That was gorgeous.